with a new makeover and a banger of a new Switch 2 title. It's time to rank Donkey Kong Bananza characters from good to evil. And just for fun, we're throwing in some series favorites too. Spoilers ahead. So let's barrel blast our way into the ranking, starting with the most heroic character and working our way down to the most evil. These characters are the good. Now, ignoring all of the confusing timeline implications she brings to the table, the gold medal of good has to go to the young Pauline. A young girl with incredible singing talents, Pauline instantly becomes friends with Donkey Kong. Despite the trauma of being kidnapped by a psychotic simian supervillain and being stuck miles from home, she remains kind-hearted to everyone she meets, always insistent on helping them however she can. Without Pauline, Donkey Kong's Bananza transformations aren't possible, and that alone makes her an invaluable tool for saving the world from Void Kong. Even so, during the final battle with him, believing in DK's ability to defeat him even without his Bananza powers, and not wanting Void to use them for his own purposes. She also relents when Donkey Kong is captured in Void's weird dark magic-esque crystal stuff, showing that she'll do whatever it takes to protect the people dearest to her. In the end, she even encourages DK to return to Ingot Isles because, despite wanting to have him there with her, she wants DK to be happily able to pursue his own dreams as well. That's some serious emotional maturity for a 13-year-old kid, and her lack of any corrupting qualities makes her a surefire choice for our gold medal of good. Now, Pauline's great and all, but she's certainly not as iconic as our silver medal of good winner, DK's partner in heroism, Diddy Kong. While DK himself has some shady moments in his past, Diddy, despite sharing his name with a pretty unfortunate celebrity, doesn't have any of that darkness in him. The absolute worst you could say about Diddy Kong is that he can be mischievous and reckless at times, which, yeah, he's a monkey. They're known for being playful and whimsical. Not only does Diddy never use his playfulness to hurt anyone, he constantly helps Donkey Kong protect the DK Isles from villains like K. Rool, and has even saved his big buddy on at least one occasion. In Bananza, Diddy's compassion is on even fuller display. When the Ingot Isles caves in and sends a lot of the monkey miners far from home, Diddy and Dixie set up a Ramby Rumble arena to get their spirits up. Diddy Kong is the kind of guy who just always lifts the moods of the people around him, which makes him a worthy second place in our good rankings. But real quick, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Flexispot. Flexispot makes amazing quality ergonomic furniture for your office and the home. I've been using their adjustable standing desk for a couple of years now, and it's been a game changer for my back and my posture. And recently, Flexispot was cool enough to send me their C7 Max ergonomic chair. I edit a ton of videos and I play video games to make videos, so it's a lot of time sitting in front of my editing software or video game. And look at this old chair that I used to use. In hindsight, this was not great for my back. No lumbar support, no recline. No wonder my back would be sore after sitting in this thing for a full workday. As soon as I set up the C7 Max ergonomic chair, I realized how genuinely important a high quality ergonomic chair is. The first thing that I noticed is the lumbar support. It's like cotton candy for your lower back. The C7 Max is unique from traditional chairs that only support the lumbar region. This one also supports the sacrum region of your lower back. And the chair has a 3D adjustable headrest, which means it can be tilted to the ideal angle for work. And it has 5D armrests that can be easily adjusted to support your arms when typing or gaming. I'm not even exaggerating. When you kick back in this chair when it's reclined, it's as comfortable as if you were sitting in a lazy boy style recliner chair. If you play a lot of video games or you work a lot at your desk, the C7 Max ergonomic chair is a great investment to make. It'll help you avoid lower back problems, help with your posture, and just make you more comfortable. Flexispot also offers a 30-day return policy for a risk-free trial and a 10-year warranty for direct replacement for damaged parts. Make sure to use our promo code in the description to get the best price. And also, if you have a limited budget, you can check out their C5 chair, which is also a great quality chair with basic functions and adjustments. Thank you Flexispot for sponsoring us today and for making incredible ergonomic chairs that make us so much more comfortable. And following Diddy, we of course have his girlfriend, Dixie Kong. Like Diddy, Dixie has a whole lot of good characteristics and not really any bad ones to dock points for. On top of being a loyal girlfriend to Diddy and a loyal friend to the rest of the DK crew, she's extremely patient and selfless. All you need to do is look at her role in Donkey Kong Country 3 to prove that. When Funky Kong dumps Kiddy Kong on her for a babysitting gig, she doesn't complain even once, taking on the role of his caretaker instantly. I guess we could dock her points for endangering him on her quest to save DK and Diddy Kong from King K. Rool, but what else was she gonna do? Leave him unattended? That sin is on Funky Kong's record, not hers. But let's talk about an umbrella entry, the Bananza Elders from Donkey Kong Bananza. As the source of DK's titular transformations, it isn't surprising that they're each heroes in their own right. They all claim to have been heroes in their past before retiring as legendary DJs, and considering how much respect their people have for them, we think their words are pretty valid. By teaching DK and Pauline to use and activate their respective Bananzas, they play a pretty key role in stopping Void Kong from reaching the planet core, earning them a high spot on our list. And they aren't the only animals who have helped the Kongs before, because next up are the Animal Buddies. While there isn't a ton to say about each of them individually, all of the random animals the Kongs befriend on their journeys help them through the tough times. From Squitter's web platforms to Squawk's ability to track down hidden treasures, they each play a crucial role in making DK's adventures a little bit easier, and they don't seem to gain a lot from it, so we think they deserve a lot of points for selflessness. While most people only know them for their short-lived career as background dancers, Chunky, Tiny, and Lanky Kong are responsible for more good deeds than just the DK rap. They each play a major role in stopping King K. Rool from destroying DK Island in Donkey Kong 64, and for each of them, that's pretty impressive. Tiny is a kid, Lanky lacks both style and grace, and Chunky is pretty fearful of all the danger surrounding their journey. But they each overcome their weaknesses to help save the day. That said, we are going to give Lanky Kong the Darwin Center Medal though, since he's carefree on a whole nother level. Now next up, he's the leader of the bunch, you know him well, and he returns to Bananza to kick some tail. Obviously we're talking about Donkey Kong. The great ape who helped put Nintendo on the map has gone from a titular villain to something of an anti-hero to finally embracing full-on superhero status. Whether it's retrieving stolen bananas, protecting his island and family from destruction, or even helping a lost little girl get home safely, DK is always happy to help. When Odd Rock is frightened at the beginning of Bananza, DK sings to calm it down, and the two become fast friends, helping countless others along the way. When Pauline gets kidnapped thanks to Void Kong's brainwashing of the Great Harmonial, DK doesn't hesitate to rush in to save her. He does have his moments of selfishness, like kidnapping Pauline in Mario vs. Donkey Kong because she liked Mario's plastic toys better than his, but after Bananza, we doubt he had any ill intentions. At worst, maybe he was just jealous of Mario's friendship with her, which earns him an Envy Center Medal at worst, since they seem to be totally cool after this. DK himself is also remarkably forgiving, shown by his acceptance of Poppy and Grumpy into the DK crew after the end of Bananza. DK is a good buddy to all, unless they get in between him and his bananas. At that point, whatever happens is on them. The Fractones, the most prominent NPCs in Bananza, are up next. Generally speaking, the Fractones are all willing to help DK and Pauline on their adventure, for a small price. We can't say we fault them for this, of course. They are honest business crystals, and they deserve compensation for whatever they provide to help you out. But be that as it may, it still makes them objectively less admirable than the people who help expecting nothing in return. Initially, we thought it would be funny to give Funky Kong the top spot out of sheer respect, but it turns out that while Funky Kong is objectively cool as all heck, he's also got a lot of character flaws. First things first, he definitely deserves our Sloth Center Medal. Not only did he dump Kiddy Kong on Dixie Kong just because he didn't feel like babysitting, but he almost never joins the Kongs on their adventures despite being just as strong as DK himself, and more durable as proven in Tropical Freeze. While he does do some good deeds, like selling useful items to the crew or giving them shortcuts, he still could be doing way more to help out. It fits his chill guy persona, but it also keeps him from being any higher up. And nearing the end of our good guys is, well, not a guy actually. Candy Kong is DK's main love interest in the series, and as a result, she earns the Lust Center Medal for her constant flirtatiousness with both DK and other characters. Yeah, flirting with other guys behind your partner's back isn't a great look, Candy, but we'll give you credit for all the save spots you provided, even if the Switch's save feature makes them kind of obsolete. And rounding out the good category is technically the first playable character in the series, Mario, aka Jumpman. It might seem odd to place Mario beneath DK himself, since Mario is almost certainly a more moral character overall, but this video is about the Donkey Kong series specifically. Mario is a hero in the OG Donkey Kong and in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series, which earns him plenty of points to stay out of the gray area. But he also has some pretty sleazy moments, from capturing Cranky Kong and making his son rescue him in Donkey Kong Jr., to gleefully tormenting one of his circus apes in a Game & Watch title. Jumpman has a pretty checkered past. It doesn't undo all the good stuff he's done, but it makes him a lot less admirable than most of the other heroes in the series. And with that said, we venture into more neutral territory. These characters fall in the gray area, and we kick it off with the greedy Fractones. Okay, yeah, they aren't called that in the game, but you play the game and tell me that isn't an accurate title. We aren't talking about the shopkeepers or even the trusty tones, those fancy ones who try to guilt you into tipping every time you sell something. First, we have the Constructones. Well, yes, they do help DK and Pauline access otherwise inaccessible areas, but they only do it after you pay for the materials. Materials which apparently they obtain at max speed once they're paid. I'm not saying they're scamming you, I just think they're exaggerating how much those projects really cost. They're nowhere near as bad as the tall Securitones in the Forbidden Lair, who charge you thousands in gold just to progress in the level. They have the excuse of protecting the Banandium root, but if that's their only reason, they're even worse, since they can be bribed into letting you into a top security area. And even after all that, they still don't quite earn the greed medal, but more on that later. Next up is one of Bonanza's main antagonists, Grumpy Kong. As Void Core's director of manufacturing, he creates monsters like Pika Bruiser to slow down anybody who dare go after the Banandium root. Despite working with Void Kong, which loses him a few points, it's worth noting that Grumpy actually does have some morals. He respects DK and Pauline as opponents, handing over the keys to Void's machines after he's defeated each time, and even complimenting them after his second fight. In the post-game, when you talk to Poppy Kong, she reveals that Grumpy was the one who set Void free after he was trapped under the rubble of the ship, showing a strong sense of both honor and compassion. He may be grumpy, but he's certainly more than just a jerk. And alongside Poppy, he even returned the Kong's bananas after stealing them with Void Core, which shows that neither of them had real harmful intentions. And on a similar note is his co-worker Poppy Kong. Like Grumpy, she's a lot less villainous than her association with Void Core makes her seem. As director of intelligence, she puts up a tough fight with the help of her invisible perfume. But like Grumpy, she's always swiftly defeated by DK, and shows grace and dignity in defeat. On at least one occasion, you can ask her to fight, which she bluntly refuses, saying that she doesn't work unpaid overtime, which is valid, honestly. While she also finds redemption in the post-game as a new member of DK's friend circle, she was much more happy to see Void suffering than Grumpy was, as understandable as that is, given how Void constantly mistreated the both of them, but it still makes her rank a little lower than her buddy. Up next is another character who, like Donkey Kong, has a pretty checkered past. It's his grandfather, Cranky Kong. True to his name, Cranky is as grouchy as they come. He's constantly complaining about how much easier games were in the olden days, all the while berating his grandkids whenever he has an excuse to. This is on top of Cranky having been the original Donkey Kong who kidnapped a random lady in his youth. While he isn't a particularly pleasant guy, Cranky has found some redemption in the last few games. In Tropical Freeze, he makes his first appearance as a playable character, and the most fun of the four if you ask me, helping to save DK Isles from the snowmats. He returns in a much smaller role in Bonanza, where granted he still can't resist the urge to insult his grandson, but he at least gives you a free banana for listening to his rants. And rounding out the gray area is an entry that may surprise you, the Kremlin crew. I know what you're thinking, really? These guys are constantly trying to kill DK and the gang and take over their territory, but I'd argue that it isn't anywhere near that black and white. The Kremlings are heavily implied to work for K. Rool, not out of loyalty, but out of fear. Klubba, a bouncer Kremling from Donkey Kong Country 2, straight up acknowledges that his boss is a massive tyrant, and K. Lumsey from DK64 is arrested for refusing to carry out his evil orders. While they aren't innocent by any means, we don't feel that they deserve to have the same level of evil attributed to them as their boss does. And speaking of evil, it's time to descend into our final category. These characters are the bad and the evil. The least evil of the main series' main villains lands just outside of our bottom three, Lord Fratric, the leader of the Snowmans. While he's a far cry from some of the other antagonists in the Donkey Kong Country series, Lord Fratric makes up for his lack of memorability with sheer malice. A tyrant who leads his people to take over every island he can get his tusks on. He doesn't hesitate to dominate DK Island, freezing it and becoming its de facto dictator until DK can reclaim it for himself and his clan. There isn't anything good to say about Fratric that saves him from the bottom three. It's just that the bottom three are so much worse. For our bronze medal of evil, we have Tiki Tong from Donkey Kong Country Returns. Using good old-fashioned mass brainwashing to control the animals of DK Isle, he plans to steal bananas to give life to hordes of Tiki minions, establishing an unquestionable reign over DK Isle. We doubt Tiki Tong would have stopped there if his plan succeeded, but he doesn't seem anywhere near as malicious and as evil as our final two. And with that, the runner-up spot goes to the newest Donkey Kong villain, Void Kong. Honestly, scriptwriter's note here. Throughout most of our playthrough of Bananza, we were thinking that Void had a decent chance of taking the gold medal of evil. I mean, frankly, the guy's just despicable. Not only does he have an evil laugh that goes ridiculously hard for a Nintendo game, he also has some of the most deplorable crimes in the entire series under his belt. Kidnapping a child for the sake of reaching the planet's core to get his wishes granted is just scratching the surface of how depraved Void Kong is. He constantly berates and abuses his employees, and as he approaches the planet core, he manages to nearly destroy entire underground societies to ensure that nobody gets in the way of his business venture. His ruthlessness is amped up to 11 in the final act, when he traps DK in Void Matter to pursue Pauline to sing and allow him to lay claim to the Banandium root, which, might I add, he only wanted to use to wish for infinite gold, easily earning him the Greed Sinner Medal. Now, side note, to transition to our fairly obvious gold medal, let me tell you what our scriptwriter experienced during the finale of the game. You see that Banandium root? It kinda looks familiar, doesn't it? Like the belly of a certain banana-plundering crocodile? Yeah, I'm coping. I know it would just be really cool if— What do you mean I called it? He's back again, and about time too. This guy's evil through and through. King K. Rool takes a fairly easy gold medal of evil. Frankly, we don't even need to do much explaining for this one. K. Rool has always been portrayed as a selfish, cruel tyrant who's despised and feared even by his own men. Bananza doubles down on this. It's revealed that K. Rool's absence was due to him being trapped by the Banandium root, which has the ability to reject evil people who approach it. One sign in the Kremling's camp reveals that the workers were less terrified about being trapped in a mysterious underground world than they were about being punished by K. Rool for their failure. When DK and Void inadvertently set the tyrant free, he gets right back to his misdeeds. His wish on the Banandium root, you ask? Well, it's not just plain and simple world domination or anything like that. If you've ever heard of the term, some men just want to watch the world burn, I've got a better one for you. Some crocodiles just want to watch the entire universe be turned into rotten banana mush so he can eat it. Not only does K. Rool earn the Gluttony Sinner Medal for such a messed up motive, it also cements him as the most evil character in the franchise. Void Kong was selfish, greedy, and had no overtly redeeming qualities, but even if his reason was as selfish as, money, he at least had a reason for that screwed up stuff he did. On the other hand, K. Rool just wants to terrorize as many people as possible. Before the final battle in Bananza, he revels in his heart being rotten to the core, and threatens to eat DK and Pauline after turning them into rotten mush. King K. Rool is a ruthless, sadistic, greedy, downright irredeemable bully. He's all the evil of Bowser and all the ego of King Dedede, amped up to 11 and given absolutely none of those two's redeeming qualities. All of that is to say, man, it's good to have you back, you absolute scumbag. Thank you again, FlexiSpot, for sponsoring us today. Make sure to use our promo code in the description to get the best price on their ergonomic chairs.